video could very well end up like one of those really sad videos that you see on Facebook of army soldiers coming home that makes grown women at 45 years old cry their eyeballs out. There has never been a reunion more anticipated than this. There has never been a relationship stronger than this one. We've all missed him. We've all loved him. We've all been separated from him from far too long, but today is the day that we are finally reunited. This is like the time father left to go get cigarettes and milk, only this time he finally came back. Lost media from Nintendo. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. This is gonna be beautiful. I can't tell you the last time I watched a Jorge video, dude. I can't tell you. It's been far too long. There's been an empty void in my heart, all right? Bigger than usual, all right? And it needs to be filled with Jorge.
This video is brought to you by Raycon earbuds.
The beautiful, smooth, luscious, golden voice, dude. Love it. I
Get
fucking
50%
love
off your
it.
purchase when you use my exclusive discount code, Jorge.
Listen, I just bought headphones from Target 2 weeks ago for $20, dude. I would love to buy some Raycons using code Jorge for 25% off, dude. Would love it. Ominous. Like this.
King Koopa's Cool Cartoons.
King Koopa's Cool Cartoons.
Koopa's Cool Cartoons was a strange Nintendo TV crossover, and very little of its weird content has ever been found. A spin-off of the relatively popular 1989 Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
Dude! Here's the thing, dude. I never understood this. Somebody needs to do some type of like one of those other channels that like does deep dives and like those really long video essays, like a smart person that does research and is not lazy like me, dude. Needs to make a video explaining what the hell was going on with kid shows back in like the 80s and 90s. Because we've watched so many of these videos of like old lost cartoons, lost media, old creepy like kid stuff, and it's like these shows were created to appeal to children, but it's some of the creepiest and most horrifying things that I've ever seen in my entire life. Where if I was a young child alive at this time, all right, this is like the time of the ancient Romans, dude. If I was alive at this time, I probably would have PTSD and be traumatized and would never sleep with the lights on and would probably be wetting the bed until I was 14 rather than just 13. You know what I mean? Like, this is some of the worst things I've ever seen. Horrifying. And it's like for kids, dude.
Featured a live crowd, a heavily made-up presenter, and various different
Like,
segments.
yeah, dude, this definitely makes me want to destroy a bowl of Fruit Loops with a big old smile on my face on a Saturday morning, dude. Absolutely not. Jesus, dude. Looks like a demon that would crawl out of my toilet.
Version of King Koopa, who you probably know better as Bowser. The character Bowser actually has more than one name, but that's a story for a different video. King Koopa's Cool Cartoons was a pretty low-key show. It only lasted for one season, allegedly airing for 65 episodes in 1989 and 1990 on a Southern California TV station. Each episode clocked in at around 30 minutes. This short-lived...
What's the story behind with the guy behind the Koopa mask? We all know how these stories end, dude. Anytime there's like a kid's TV show and somebody has to wear like a big silly costume, dude, the person in the big silly costume always turns out to be a freaky weirdo that should have not been around children, dude. Always.
A little-known local run.
What's the story with this
was
guy?
seemingly a test to determine how popular
I
the
hope
show
he's
would
wholesome.
be. And if it was successful, Nintendo might have attempted to give the platform a wider release. But when King Koopa's Cool Cartoons proved to be massively unpopular, the show obviously wasn't renewed or rolled out further.
Oh, really?
Some sources
It
say
was
that King
unpopular?
Koopa's
What
Cool
makes you say
Cartoons
that?
also aired sporadically in both
What
Arizona
makes you say that,
and the
dude?
UK.
What about
Cartoons.
this picture right here? Do you think would turn children across the nation off from such a wonderful and magical entertainment experience? Gee, dude, I wonder.
Also aired sporadically in both Arizona and the UK. But there's no real proof to back up.
That's hilarious. It aired in just Arizona and the UK. Like, that's it. Just literally just Arizona and the UK, dude. That explains a lot. That explains a lot, actually, dude.
In both Arizona and the UK.
This looks like something that would show in Arizona.
But there's no real proof to back up either of those claims.
People from Arizona
if you
got
saw
some
any episodes in either
questionable,
of those locations or
decision
anywhere
making.
else, let me know in the comments below. Anyways,
Arizona's in
King
shambles.
Koopa's Cool Cartoons was a pretty weird show with a pretty weird intro. In this pre-recorded intro, King Koopa dances down a Los Angeles street in the direction of a TV studio, accompanied by a raucous
Yeah,
bunch
dude, nice. Down a Los Angeles street, dude. Like, it's not literally the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, it's not literally the LA street, dude. There's two LA streets that matter. There's the Walk of Fame and there's Rodeo, and that's the only ones that matter. That's the only ones that matter. And whichever one that they did for Franklin's house was on for GTA.
Los Angeles
Grove
street
Street, dude.
in the direction of a TV studio, accompanied by a raucous bunch of kids and his dog-like pet puppet Ratso. He breaks accompanied by a raucous bunch of kids and his dog-like
A dog? Ain't no damn dog, dude. I want to throw this thing in the fucking garbage disposal. What? A dog? If this thing ran up to me on the street and started yapping at me, I'm telling you, I'm kicking a world record field goal right then and there, dude. Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind?
pet puppet Ratso. He breaks into the TV studio, confronting those who stop him, and aggressively declaring, "It's my show now." The rest of the show was filmed in front of a live studio audience, made up of young children, referred to as King Koopa's Troopas.
They were all being held hostage against their will, dude. Their parents signed a waiver. They thought their parents were going to be on a fun, happy kids TV show, but instead these kids are being held. They've been sitting here for 36 hours straight. They've had no food and no water. They have filmed all 64 episodes back to back 7 times until they've got it right.
The show was made up of various skits and segments, including a character called Mr. Mean Jeans, and sections in which King Koopa would read out jokes. Recovered clips include footage of King Koopa bottle feeding an egg, King Koopa talking to his pet / mascot Ratso, and a 2-character puppet show, but instead of actual puppets, the characters are played by vegetables.
It's just lettuce.
The show
wow,
also
dude. Kids, cause we all know kids love vegetables, right? Kids love them some vegetables, dude.
played public domain cartoons from the 1920s and 1930s. But these cartoons were entirely unrelated to Mario and the Mario franchise, and seemingly had
nice,
no
dude, just showing racist Mickey to the youth of America, dude. Nice.
connection
Love
at
that.
all to the content of the rest of the show or its characters. So yeah, really, really weird.
It was just
Another
filler.
regular segment included King Koopa reading fan mail from people who had written into the show. This fan mail was often negative and critical. The show wasn't particularly popular, and the fan mail often reflected that perception.
Dude, I can just... Dude, oh my god, I could just see it now, dude. This is filmed in front of a live studio audience, dude. This is filmed in front of a live studio audience, dude. And King Koopa sits his ass down next to Billy here. Poor little Billy, dude. Has no idea what the hell's going on. King Koopa sits down, starts reading some, he's like, all right, kids, let's read some fan mail. Then he opens the fan mail. It's like, you big, stupid, ugly, green bitch. I hope you fucking burn in hell and your show gets canceled. That's why your father has diabetes, is gonna die soon, you fucking fat bitch. Like, just rips into him. And then Billy's like, he's traumatized, dude.
Many parents also wrote into King Koopa's cool cartoons to complain that the content was sometimes scary and inappropriate. Because the show had a limited release, it's unlikely that any other clips will resurface in the future. So we might never know quite how scary and inappropriate the show sometimes was.
Dude, the stamp on the envelope is an NBA Youngboy picture?
Or if you have any more information, please let us know in the comments below. The Pokemon Pirate Ship Show.
That sounds
Back
awful.
in September 2000, a little known and barely remembered Pokemon Sailboat Show came to the shores of Sydney, Australia.
Of course it's Australia, dude.
Of Pokemon-related events over the years.
Of course it's Australia, dude. The only way you can get Pokemon to Australia is by fucking boat, dude. That's the only way you can get anything to fucking Australia, because it's isolated from everyone else, dude. Big-ass island.
I served up plenty of Pokemon-related events over the
That's
years,
the only way you can get the...
including card swaps,
Get it,
open
it's the boat.
tournaments, new game launches, costume character appearances, and plenty more. This
A
particular
Pokemon
Sailboat
card
show,
tournament
however,
in
was
Australia.
part of the first ever World Championship.
Crikey, mate, I play my Pikachu. Oh, that's a mighty fine Pikachu you've got there, mate. Crikey, you cunt.
Championships events for the iconic Nintendo.
Dude, Steve Irwin would hate Pokemon. Think about it, dude. Do you think Steve Irwin would tolerate a universe where humans kidnap wild animals and force them to fight against other wild animals against their own will? You think Steve Irwin was gonna stand for that, dude? If you get anywhere near within 50 feet of a wild lemur and even have thoughts of brushing up against its fur, Steve Irwin sends a hit squad to your work. Alright? You are not harming a single animal under his watch. You think he would tolerate Pokemon, dude? They had to wait till after Steve Irwin to bring this overseas, dude, because he would not tolerate any of this, dude. Absolutely not.
64 Pokemon Stadium game. The 3-day competition was allegedly part of a massive 22-day event.
Pokemon Stadium was sick. Pokemon Stadium was sick because you could link your DS to the Wii. You can link your DS to the Wii and then play it, and it was sick, dude. My boy had it.
Held in Sydney.
Back in the day.
The lengthy event featured way more than just a championship tournament. Other attractions included performances, trading events, product launches, and gaming sessions. Although it was billed as the, quote, biggest free Pokemon show on Earth, unquote, very little of the event was recorded.
You had to pay $25 to get in.
Not much is known about exactly what happened at the events. The best summary we have is from a September 2000 edition of the video game-related IGN magazine, which describes the events as follows. Quote, while in Sydney, kids and adults will take over Pokemon Park, an interactive area where they can compete in trading card tournaments and video game face-offs, and enjoy concerts, dancing, games, food, and much, much more, including a Pokemon Team Rocket live show, a Pokemon Disco, and limited edition first-in-the-world Pokemon products.
A Team Rocket live show. What does that entail, dude? Is that like live poaching? Right? In like Australia, they like take a buggy out on the outback, and they start go poaching, dude? Is that what the Team Rocket live show is?
In this synopsis, there are no details about any Sailboat show, but it definitely occurred, which is proven by the presence of a small number of photographs and an even smaller amount of video footage. According to one Italian Pokemon magazine published around the same time as the event, 2 so-called galleons sailed into Sydney's port before engaging in battle. According to another source, this featured a cannon fight between Team Rocket and a bunch of Pokemon. And yeah, Little else is known about
Why would the
tournaments
Pokemon be
or about
fighting
the
with
Pirate Ship
cannons?
show.
Why would the Pokemon be fighting with cannons?
There's nothing on the Wayback Machine.
Like what? Like literally, Pikachu can shoot electricity out of his ass, and he's loading up the cannons. Fire in the hole, dude. Like
Nothing
what?
on any official Pokemon platforms, and very few memories or
Could
recollections.
you imagine
from
Psyduck
Pokemon
trying to load a
fans.
fucking cannon, dude? He blow up the whole
So, if you're
shit.
from the Sydney area and have any memories or footage, once again, please let us know in the comments below. Shitamachi Ninjo Gekijo.
Oh yeah, of course, I know that.
Next up is the most bizarre entry on our list. So strap yourself in for some pretty strange and
Okay, here we go, dude. See, this is what I'm talking about. What is this? What is this demonically possessed DS game, dude? That's what this is gonna be. This is gonna be some Game Boy game. This is gonna be some fucking Game Boy game about some weird, like some weird Japanese folktale. And it's got like a real curse, and anybody who beats the game will meet their demise, will succumb to a very brutal and painful demonic death. That's what he's about to tell me. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, if you're a real hardcore gamer and you beat this game, your soul gets possessed and you get eaten from the inside out.
disturbing stuff. Shitamachi Ninjo Gekijo was a so-called virtual magazine, initially released in 1995 for the barely remembered Satellaview platform.
The what?
This was a satellite modem add-on for Nintendo's Super Famicom console, which was the Japanese equivalent of the Super Nintendo.
Oh.
The Satellaview wasn't particularly popular or successful, even in Japan, and it was never released in the US or Europe. On this satellite modem add-on, users could download games and satellite broadcasts, and play quizzes and competitions. They could also download and watch magazine-style shows.
They had one of those for
and
the
one of the most notorious was
they had one of those for the 64, I think. You could like plug it in on the top and you could like watch movies. I think it was I could be tripping, dude. I think it was a 64 that could do that.
The magazine featured 6 episodes, originally broadcast between November 1995 and March 1996.
The hell is this?
All episodes were made up of still images, and featured Mario and the characters from the Mario universe. Because the show was magazine style, viewers could use their console to freely flip between the pages. But the content on some of these pages was disturbing.
What is this? Why does this look like Mario's like preaching to his cult? Dude, about the ascension and the uprising. My children, the time has come. We must all ascend to the gates for our Father.
To freely flip between the pages.
It's another Heaven's Gates type of deal.
But the content on some of these pages was disturbing. While most other Mario content is innocent and family friendly, this stuff was graphic and bizarre.
What?
In episode 1, Mario tells Toad to kill Bowser with a butter knife. In episode 2,
What?
Mario pulls a poop-covered spoon out of his anus.
What? Wait a minute, dude. What? He pulls a spoon out of his ass. Dude, where can I see this? Where can I see this for myself?
In episode 3, he pulls a drill out of his scrotum.
Wait, he pulled a drill out of his dick hole? Stop, 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 stop. Why? Why? What am I hearing? What is the reasoning for all of this? Dude, I can't do this. Why is he pulling things out of his orifices? They really took that whole video game concept to life, dude. You know, how you literally, like in GTA, you pull a rocket launcher out of your asshole, dude? They took that literally. They took that literally.
And Mario and Toad use this drill to escape from jail.
Naturally.
In episode 4...
Naturally. Because when you get arrested, you just smuggle a drill in your dick. And then you use the drill to then bring it out. Dude, that's how El Chapo got out twice. That's how El Chapo got out twice, dude. The first time he put the spoon in his ass, dug out with the spoon. Second time he was a little bit smarter and brought the drill.
Mario and Toad accidentally mistake Windows 95 for a vehicle.
What?
Until they are corrected by Bill Gates, who, in a surprise appearance,
Bill Gates?
instead informs them that the Windows 95 is, in fact, an object you put on your head.
Oh.
In episode 5,
Okay.
things become even more bizarre.
Bill fucking Gates.
Mario kills both Toad and Peach before
Bro.
smoking a cigarette and announcing he has a new girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
The ghosts of both Peach and Toad arrive.
All right, man. This is like a Netflix movie now, dude. Murdering them because he's got himself a new mistress, dude. This is spiraling. This is spiraling. We went from Mario pulling spoons out of his ass to then murdering Toad, smoking a cigarette, and fucking a new bitch. Dude.
And watch as Mario's new girlfriend is unveiled. Weirdly, this new girlfriend is revealed to be Bowser.
What? That's gay.
In the 6th and final episode, the stills are purposely crude and simple,
What
and an
the
unnamed
hell?
male character
Ew, what the hell is that? Ew, this looks like somebody's poorly drawn NFT. What the hell is this? Ew, this looks like somebody's original like avatar on Twitter. This looks awful, like a rejected SpongeBob background character. This is terrible.
travels to hell before doing stuff with a lobster.
Excuse me? Dude, what is this? What is this? Now we're fucking lobsters. Now we're fucking lobsters. This is a crazy, dude. Americans really gotta step their game up, dude. We don't got none of this crazy shit. Fucking lobsters, dude, that would go crazy in a Playboy magazine, dude. That would go absolutely berserk. I've seen how Americans lose their marbles over that bunny from fucking Zootopia. Alright? So, you know, and Lola Bunny, right? Lola fucking Bunny, the green M&M, right? Americans have some weird obsession with, like, sexy non-humans. So, dude, fuck it. Give us a sexy lobster. You know? They go... If you throw a thick lobster in a Playboy magazine, dude, right? Its booty is like buttered up. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkle a little parsley on there. Dude, you can get some people to go crazy. You can get people to go fucking wild.
This is definitely the most unusual piece of Nintendo media we're aware of. And much of this content was once lost for a long while. But, as of now, it's all available on YouTube. So watch it while you can, before it disappears again.
Oh, it's all on YouTube? Say less, dude. Is it translated? I'm watching all of it. I gotta see the story. I gotta see, like, you know, are we missing something? Like, how do we get from the spoon to the lobster? What happens in between there? Or do we just go straight from spoon to lobster? You know what I mean? I feel like we've gotta clear some gaps in there.
Zelda Gaiden.
What?
The
Is that like
Legend of
Ninja
Zelda:
Gaiden?
Ocarina of Time is highly lauded and universally considered to be one of the best games of all time. But when it was first being built, Nintendo wanted it to be more innovative and interesting. Ocarina of Time was first set to be released as one of the launch titles for the Nintendo 64DD, a much anticipated disc-based add-on for the N64. These discs offered more storage capacity than traditional cartridges, meaning that the game could be packed with more stories, better graphics, and a whole load of unique features and animations. But when the 64DD wound up being a massive failure, with less processing power than first thought, the Zelda team needed to rethink. Ocarina of Time was instead moved back over to a cartridge, and this meant that lots of the game's development and content had to be adapted, scrapped, and deleted. But the Nintendo team didn't want to lose all the stuff they worked on, so they planned to release the extra content as a pair of expansion packs.
Like a
One was
DLC?
known as Uro Zelda,
That's a finesse.
which translates to Other Zelda, and the other was known as Zelda Gaiden, which translates to Zelda Side Story.
Everything you
Zelda
need to know
was
about this
canceled,
amazing
but Nintendo
sequel.
pushed on with their plans for Zelda Gaiden.
Nerd.
And so, in May 1999, Nintendo announced the upcoming release of Zelda Gaiden, claiming that it was a sequel to Ocarina of Time, but that it was set to take place in some sort of alternate reality. But some of the Nintendo team
Deku! Oh my god, dude! Fucking Deku!
were worried that Zelda Gaiden was too similar to Ocarina of Time, which postponed the release date. Eventually, the partially reformed and partially reimagined game was adapted into the later released Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask came out in April 2000,
Ew!
11 months after Zelda Gaiden was first advertised. Not much is known about exactly what Zelda Gaiden would have looked like or contained, and much of the beta footage has seemingly been lost forever. But from what we do know, the beta version of Zelda Gaiden is pretty different from the Majora's Mask that was eventually released. The game was initially planned to be set over 7 days, rather than 3, and it was allegedly set to be played in real time. The game also
Dude,
planned
there's some like crazy Zelda nerds that are losing their minds over this. That are losing their fucking minds over this, dude. There's some diehard Zelda people out there, like Nintendo people. When this like gets thrown onto like one of them websites where you like play all the old games and shit, you know, one of them emulators. Soon as it, dude, I'm telling you, they're gonna have the biggest like circle jerk ever.
to make use of an adult Link mask, which implies that the
Like
adult
a
version of Link
lost
would have been a much more
DLC
significant character in the
for
game.
the greatest Zelda ever, dude.
Other
Like this
details
is what
also might
they've
have
been
been
waiting
different.
for. Like their
A
dreams
screenshot
are coming
exists
true,
showing
dude.
the faceless version
The little
of
nerd
Terminus
dreams.
Moon, without its gruesome grimace. Lots of other items, instruments, and cutscenes were also lost. But little of this early game remains, and it's unlikely that any more will ever resurface. Kirby Bowl 64.
That sounds so
Planned
hard.
but unreleased N64
Why does
game
that sound
Kirby
sick?
Bowl 64 has had a storied history,
Kirby Bowl?
but despite its relative infamy, not much is known about this never-released game.
Dude, that
The
sounds
game
dope.
is
What
an
the hell?
unreleased prototype of what was later set to become Kirby's Air Ride, but the N64 version of Kirby's Air Ride was also cancelled. Back in 1995, Nintendo announced that they'd be releasing 3 huge new games, which they would launch along with their upcoming Nintendo 64 console, which at the time was known as the Ultra 64. These 3 games were Super Mario 64, Pilot Wing 64, and Kirby Bowl 64. Covered extensively in magazine pages, and at Nintendo's 1995 Shoshinka trade show, Kirby Bowl 64 was set to be a 3D sequel to 1994's
Kirby fucking
Switch Love
Bowl.
Kirby Bowl. You might instead know Kirby Bowl as
Yo!
Kirby's Dream Course, which was
Cancun with the fucking raid, dude. Fucking Cancun, dude. Ciao Can fucking Coon. Cancun on 3, baby. What's fucking good? My balls itch. Do you need me to scratch them for you? I scratch my balls all the time, dude. I've become a master at scratching balls. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kirby Bowl. You might instead know Kirby Bowl as Kirby's Dream Course, which was its name in Western markets. Just like in Kirby Bowl 64 was partially set to see Kirby take on the role of a golf ball, and players would putt and ping him around various courses of increasing difficulty. During other parts of the game, he would skate, float in the air, roll around the floor, and be bounced around a bunch of
Dude, do you see how he's holding that? see how he's holding that controller?
And players would putt and ping him around various.
Chat, did y'all ever hold a 64 controller like that? For those, okay, for those that aren't, you know, that weren't born 2 days ago, dude. Those that, you know, the real grown folk business, okay? This is grown folk conversation. Did y'all ever hold that like this, dude? In the middle? In the middle? I never held, chat, I held my shit like a normal controller, and I stretched the fuck out of my thumb to hit the middle. I never held it like in the, you would have to like switch your hands, and I'm not, no. I'd cook the fuck out of this, dude. Absolutely.
Various courses of increasing difficulty.
Name a game, I'm cooking them.
Game, he would skate, float in the air,
Name
roll
a game.
around the floor, and be bounced around a bunch of strange and kooky courses.
Oh,
These
kooky.
course-based stages would have featured obstacles, enemies, psychedelic settings, and a whole bunch of physics-defying features. In multiplayer mode, up to 4 players would each have control of the ball, zooming around a 3D landscape in attempts to knock each other off the platform and out of the game. But although the game was sort of similar to Kirby Bowl, the graphics were set to be much more intricate and sophisticated, moving from a basic 2D design to a much more complex 3D design. In one magazine article advertising the upcoming release of the game, Kirby Bowl 64 was summarized as follows. Quote, "Function defeats form in one of the year's strangest and most abstract puzzle and action games."
Dude, this game looks sick.
The game was heavily publicized and advertised, so Nintendo seemed dead set on its release.
And
But
they just
despite
don't
their
drop
eager
it.
promotion of the game
They just
across
didn't drop
many
it,
platforms,
right?
it was never released.
Yeah, they just didn't
And
fucking,
no one really knows why.
just never came out.
No playable
Why?
version of Kirby Bowl 64 has ever been found or released.
And they just don't say
And there's
anything.
very little footage anymore.
They just
online.
don't say anything. If you like email Nintendo and you're like, hey, where is Kirby Bowl 64? Then somebody's gonna show up at your house with a gun. In a briefcase, and he's gonna pull it out. He's gonna be like, "You're asking too many questions. Relax." You know what I mean? If you're like in public, like just walking down the street, talking with your friend about Kirby Bowl, you get thrown into a van and never seen again, dude. They take this shit seriously. All right, they did not want nobody to know about this.
There's also very little information
You better be careful.
online about the replanned N64 Kirby's
They will string
Air
you
Ride,
up by your feet and
which
tie
was
you to a
also canceled.
flagpole, hit you around like a
Kirby's Air
tetherball.
Ride was eventually released for the GameCube 8 years later, with a slightly altered title of Kirby Air Ride. But because there was such a hefty time between the first planned release and the subsequent actual release, the games are probably very dissimilar to one another. It's pretty weird that so little is known about such a well-publicized and highly anticipated game. But I guess that's just how lost media works.
Dude, they should just randomly drop it. Like for the Switch. Don't hype it up. Don't do nothing. Just randomly drop Kirby Bowl for the fucking Switch, dude. Say absolutely nothing. Say absolutely nothing. Just drop it. Same
Metroid
graphics,
Dread.
everything.
The most modern entry on our lost media list, Metroid Dread was planned to be
Metroid.
a direct sequel to 2002's super successful Metroid Fusion, which was released on the Game Boy Advance. Metroid Fusion was the 4th game in the Metroid series, and it was hugely popular.
Dude,
Its
Metroid is
supposed
great.
sequel, Metroid Dread, was first planned and conceptualized around
Metroid is great.
2005, and it was due to be released for the Nintendo DS.
They're not fucking
In
Samus, dude.
2006,
A bad
the
bitch.
official Nintendo magazine announced the forthcoming release of the game, with a planned date for November of the same year. According to most sources at the time, it was going to be a direct sequel to its predecessor and continue exactly where Metroid Fusion left off.
Naturally.
But when November 2006 rolled around, the game didn't surface. For several following years, Metroid Dread was cancelled.
Is this just like a pattern? Where they're just like, hey, look at this crazy great new game that you are all going to love. This is going to be the best game that you have ever played in your entire life. You will neglect all of your family responsibilities, and your entire life is going to fall apart around you just because of the sheer amount of time that you are going to be spending on this absolutely amazing, fun-filled game. And they just don't release it to anybody. And then nobody gets to play it at all. So instead of playing Metroid Dread, all right, instead of running around with Samus playing Metroid's Dread, dude, you gotta go to work. You gotta go clock into your 9 to 5 and start clicking away at your keyboard, dude. All right, you still gotta come home to the wife and the kids. You know what I mean? You still gotta go mow that lawn, dude. Unfortunately, you don't get to neglect your responsibilities, dude. All right. I think Nintendo is pushing propaganda, is pushing feminist propaganda. Think about it. Think about it. If Kirby Bowl was released, no men would ever pay attention to their woman again. Think about it. Kirby Bowl. Are you going to be... Think about it. What would you rather be doing at 7 p.m. on a Thursday night? Would you rather be cuddled up next to a woman watching The Amazing Race, eating half-burnt chicken Alfredo? Or do you want to be playing Kirby fucking Bowl, dude? Think about it. Kirby Bowl drops. Everybody is neglecting their wives and their girlfriends and their kids, dude. And the world falls apart. All right? So the Nintendo's like, all right, dude, we can't allow this. We cannot allow this to happen. So they just decide not to release shit. And then, you know, now we got to go to work and we got to do all these responsibilities, dude. And unfortunately, the world has to continue to turn, dude.
Postponed and pushed back. Dates kept changing, speculation kept varying, and rumors around the game's content and existence.
I'd rather be cuddling with you. Well, I'm playing fucking Kirby Bowl, so that sucks, dude.
Circulated for years. Fans weren't sure if the game was ever going to be released, or whether it had been cancelled forever. It was supposedly set to be a key release for the Nintendo DS.
Greatest console to ever exist, by the way.
For a long while, but this release never came.
Greatest console to ever exist is the Nintendo DS, and you can debate your mother.
Of the team behind the game. Game designer Yoshio Sakamoto was ambitious, and he felt that the technological and graphical limitations of the Nintendo DS wouldn't be able to fully realize his goals for the project. In 2009, another prototype was ready for the DS. But again, Sakamoto wasn't happy with the results. So the prototype was pulled, the footage wasn't released, and the game was, once again, put on hold. For many years, the game was seemingly forgotten. Most fans feared that it would never be released at all. And some even started to speculate that rumors of its existence were just some weird publicity stunts. Eventually, the much-anticipated Metroid Dread was released.
Dude, DS is better than GameCube.
For the Nintendo Switch,
DS is a GameCube in your fucking hand, dude. Way better. With a touchscreen. Way better.
As promised, the game is the direct sequel to 2002's Metroid Fusion. But it's of course probably vastly different to earlier versions of the game, and no details of these early versions have ever been released to the public.
Nice, dude. Nice, dude. I love my favorite, for some reason, my favorite theme from Jorge are these types of shits, dude. When it's like, it's lost media, but it's shit that should be lost. It's shit that, like, yeah, dude, King Koopa's cool classroom, whatever, cool, King Koopa's cool courtroom, I don't know, dude. Whatever the hell it is, dude. Keep that shit buried in whatever prison that you've got it buried in, dude. Because golly, is this one of the most disturbing fucking things I've ever seen. I don't know what the hell our obsession was back in the day of traumatizing kids through television and entertainment, dude. But we were doing that a whole awful lot, dude. And then there was a bunch of things that some nerds would probably get absolutely extremely rock solid over, dude. But, you know, this Koopa shit, it should continue to just forever be lost.